So August 10th, 2010, 2023, there was an interaction with law enforcement and the staff of the Heber City Farmers Market.
Than I do, so that's why I wanted to ask before I even talked to you. So I'm sorry that
You're okay. Well,
overheard the conversation. I was
see
just
an
checking.
officer in the park with you, with staff on your back, and I'm like, I know why they're here. They're here to talk
Well,
to
like
me.
I said, I
knew that was
because I just had to tell one of my vendors, hey, you can't walk around and tell people about your event. That's not allowed. And so I'm just making sure it's fair for everybody, you know. So that's great. I just wanted to check before I talked to you, so that's why I hadn't approached you yet.
Quite honestly, we don't do this enough, and so we don't know. And I don't want to be a jerk. If you need me to leave, I will.
No, I think you're fine. I think just making sure that you are, like you said, not hindering any other businesses.
Yep.
And if someone comes up to you and you're like, hey, what is it you're doing, then you can explain.
Yeah.
So
it's totally fine.
So here's how that First Amendment works. So very strongly protected areas are public sidewalks, city parks, right? And then streets. If they're blocked off for an event, we can go up and down the street as long as we're not obstructing traffic, right? Or causing a dangerous situation. We're not allowed to picket or protest or do anything like that in front of a post office because it presents a security risk. I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing, but I read up on this, and I talked to Roosevelt City because I walked around their city parks, and I was trying to get their farm. Well, I tried to get there to the event, and I did talk to the city police before I even went up there, and I used to work with those guys, so they knew who I was already. And so they didn't give me any problems. And so
if you hadn't overheard us, I probably wouldn't even talk to you about it. That's why I
saw a uniform and I saw staff, and I
was just asking.
Oh no.
I was just asking if that's okay or that's not okay. Like
I had not gotten any complaints about it.
And I hadn't either. I just wanted
to. This is the most hostile I've been to anybody. I got little kids around me.
That's what I said. Like, I wasn't even gonna approach you unless it was a problem. That's why I wanted to double check, because I'm like, I feel like this might be protected. I wanted to make sure, because if it's not, then I would have said something. But
if this was private property and this was your property, and I did this, and you come up to me and told me to leave, immediately I'd have to leave, because otherwise he could trespass me.
Oh yeah.
Because now I'm
I just like. And if they see one person doing something, then they're like, why does he get to do it?
Why do they get to do that?
I don't get to do it.
This is statewide initiative. It's a petition.
And that's great. So I'm sorry to cause alarm.
It's gonna get me.
You didn't.
I was just making sure. You're great. So, like I said, I support keeping the flag, you know. So
which one? Because we have a new one.
I know. I support keeping the old one.
He has to remain neutral, right?
I have to remain neutral.
I probably should too. I am a city employee.
No, you're smart for
we've got you every week. You know, just we do get like 1,000.
So I'll go start a fight. So you can taste me. You first.
Everything's good, and we have had issues in the past, and so I just defer to them. People will listen to a badge more than they'll listen to some lady in a staff shirt, you know.
Sometimes.
But you're fine. I just wanted to check in where we were. So. Don't take it the wrong way.
If it starts causing you a huge problem where vendors are threatening to leave or something like that, I don't even want it to get to that point.
I'll just explain on what
you're saying. Just come over and say,
saying.
hey, I got some people getting really mad, whatever. I have some signatures. I've done my civic duty to try to protect Utah's state flag, you know?
Yeah.
And do what I think needs done.
You're fine. I'm like, if you don't give us problems, we won't give you problems. Like,
am I wrong anywhere?
I'm very sorry.
So I would have to double check on a few things, but I think theoretically, and I could be wrong, that we need to have a special spot for
that's true, yeah.
petitioning, protesting,
because we do have a designated protest zone over there.
On the knoll over there.
I haven't put the signs up because people toss them in the trash.
Yeah, we've had protesters here in the past, and they came right up alongside of the vendors and were on a megaphone. And it was after that I done some research and was realizing that, hey, this was wrong, this was wrong, this was wrong. And even though the guy was expressing his First Amendment right, the things that he was doing could have got him arrested.
Once you start causing alarm, or deliberately causing a disturbance, all I'm doing is
Yes.
talking to
No.
people, right?
Yeah.
I'm not yelling and screaming.
But that's why
making
I wanted
people
to check
feel
in with him,
fear.
so.
And I've told everybody I've talked to, if you want me to go away, I will, but here's what's going on. And most of these people have approached me.
Yeah.
One will hear me talking and they'll come here. And that's why it's so expressively protected in a city park. If you remember the 2014 Bundy Ranch standoff, you probably don't. You probably don't know anything about it. And they built that First Amendment zone and nobody went in it. In a public park, legally you can't do that. And there's a law and it states why. I can't remember the term, but so if, let's say the mayor, not that he's doing or she's doing that, the mayor or the chief of police or somebody is against this, right? And they're protecting their cause. So they send an officer out to take and tell me I have to leave. But it's to protect their political position, to give them a stronger position. They're using the power and the authority they have with the government to drive me away when I have a right to speak. And so that is something.
I think our city attorney looked at it and he said we can put up a special zone for it. And
We would not, as long as everyone is being civil. Volume is down, and there's no duress. Then that zone, you'd be free to speak.
Because I had to change our maps in order to show
what
people
the park
this is where it's
the
at.
First Amendment zone, the whole park.
But
They've paid, so I have to stay out of their way. So you do have the right to carry on with what you're doing. And I do not have the right to interrupt that, but I do have a right to be here outside of the zone. Otherwise, it limits my free speech to a box over there where all these people could hear me, and now they can't because I'm stuck in a box. They're not going to come over to.
the good thing about
like
over
I'm
there
in a
though is you
cage.
get all the traffic on Main Street. So it's more the people with signs, not the people with petitions. But
Do you want
it's
my
fine.
name
It's fine.
and number?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Anyway, I gotta run. So thank you for your help.
He already knows your name.
See, I told you guys it was going to happen, huh?
Yep.
But it didn't happen the way I thought it would happen. We will go check it out.
Thank you for watching. I just want to point out, she talked about the city attorney, they checked into it, so they've been down this road before, but I also want to point out the fact that they don't really understand the First Amendment either, Officer Price, or the city employee, which makes me think that maybe I ought to go to their town hall meetings and bring up a couple subjects. Why? Because I was involved in this. It affected my ability to collect the signatures and be effective at what I was doing. It did interrupt what I was doing, collecting signatures to get an initiative on the ballot so that we could change the law.